topic is going to be about the Bible, the square, and the compass. We're going to have this conversation today. So come on in, join us, and I hope that it's going to be enlightening to you. You may be able to share some information with me. I'm perfectly open to it. But today, as I said, we're going to talk about the Bible, the square, the compass, and how does that play and how did that become part of Masonry as we know it today. I don't know how many of you have ever thought about it. In why do we have in America the Bible and the square and the compass, whereas in other countries you may just find the compass and square, or you just may have a book they call the Volume of Sacred Law. So we're going to have that type of conversation because what I've found is that a lot of individuals never talk about it. It's something because of what we call American Masonry and the way we've been taught here in the States in regards to Masonry. Until we don't really have that understanding, we never explored that outside of what we've been taught here. But I would just beg to differ. I would say that once you begin your journey as a Mason, once you begin to see beyond where you're at, your reference and your chain of thought is going to definitely change, and it will be influenced. So greetings to everybody who's coming on, and maybe you'll watch this later, but definitely we're going to talk about the square and the compass and the Bible. And where did this come from as far as what we know today in regards to Freemasonry? Because you've heard me say it before, there's a difference in American Masonry versus everyone else. I'm going to say that again. There's a difference in American Masonry versus everyone else. A lot of people like to put everything as if America is the only place where Freemasonry is practiced. So a lot of people put a lot of emphasis on what takes place here in the U.S., whereas I know personally, and quite a few of us know personally who have traveled beyond the borders of the states, know that Masonry is a little bit different than it is any place else. So what we have seen versus what those who have not yet explored outside of the states, what you have seen is different. Your mindset, your thought process is going to be different. Hey, Brother Smith, what's going on, my brother? The Most Worshipful Grand Master of the Most Worshipful John D. Jones Grand Lodge, Ancient Free and Accepted Masons. Greetings to you, brother. I'm doing well. You are violating your obligation teaching online to the public. I'm not teaching anything. I'm actually having a conversation regarding the compass and square and the Bible. I just want to know people's opinion on where it comes from. How did it get to be here to where it's at? Because I've read in various books regarding the compass and square and where it came from and how it got to be. I've read in regards to the Bible and how it got to be placed on the altar. But based upon my own travels, for which I'm going to share with you, I've seen different. I've understood different. And so I'm exploring that and sharing that with those who are on here tonight. And I'm not teaching, I'm actually having a conversation as I've always done with anybody who wants to come through and just hear what I got to say. This is not, nobody can go and get a book and pick up and read. And that's the funny thing about Masonry. You and I both know that anybody can go order a Masonic ritual off online. You can go buy a Duncan's, a Leicester Look to the East, and any other Masonic ritual you want to buy. Unless a Grand Lodge has its own Masonic rituals with its own opening ceremonies, you can go buy this and read it. And some people come up to be very, very astute to what they read. You will be revealing. I don't know what I'm going to reveal when it's already there. If you can enlighten me, I'm willing, I'm open to be enlightened. When you see I'm going to be revealing, I can't reveal something if it's already there. I can't. I mean, I can understand if I knew something that somebody else didn't know, but this is not something. I believe that people have picked up books and read a lot about Masonry, and they have already developed their own opinion in regards to it. Some people believe it is an occult. I've been here 39 years now. So I've come across a variety of people who believe a variety of things based upon what they've read and their views in regards to masonry. I mean, you're not going to change those folks' minds, and I'm not here trying to change anybody's mind. I'm just here saying, where did the compass and square come from, and why do here in the States, as everybody knows this, in every lodge in the United States, there's a Bible on the altar. Everybody knows that. My question is where did it come from? That's the question I'm asking. I have my own opinion based upon what I've read, but for those who are and who are not Masons, who know that in the Masonic in the United States, there's a Bible on every altar. The question is why? That's the question I'm asking. And I'm not teaching anything. I'm in search of too. I just have my own opinion. The compass allude. Oh, now I didn't say this. The compass allude to the circle, which symbolizes the spiritual. Okay, the square alludes to the geometrics, the square, which symbolizes the earthly, physical aspect combined, and they allude to. I like the way bruh broke that down. That's pretty neat. Spiritual justice. Can I still get spiritual justice? You can't get the hat. Somebody beat you to the hat, man. Somebody beat you to the hat. I've already melted the cap off. The brother who won. Oh, by the way, somebody did win the cap. Now, here's what I'm going to do. Monday, I'm going to probably come back live one day next week. I will be giving away Masonic caps to those who are Masons. I will be doing that. And for those who can email me first, you know how we get down. I'm going to send you the cap, just as I did last week. Last week to the brother who won the cap. And to him, congratulations to the brother who won the cap. And I'm going to have to go back and look at his name on my email because he sent it to me. So because someone else has eavesdropped information, it doesn't give you the green light to repeat it. People can read that, man. I mean, people can read. I mean, Steve, they can read it, man. I mean, they can read that for themselves. I'm not divulging anything that people don't already know. I'm gonna pose this question. If Masons or Masonry has secrets, why is it in a ritual where everybody can go order it and read it? If Masons or Masonry has secrets, why is it in a ritual where people can go order it and buy it and read it? I've come across people who have hit me up with the sign. I mean, I've come across people who've hit me up, gripped me up, and they were not Masons. I call them book Masons. They had no membership. They hadn't gone through the ritualistic rites and ceremonies, so they don't know. However, because they picked up a book and read it for themselves and was able to comprehend it, they hit me up. I was at Denny's, and I think I've told this story before, and this is not the first time, but with that being said, I was able to try the individual, and when I got to a certain point, and he was real good at it. I mean, I'm going to be honest, the person was real good at it. And I got to a point to say, yours for mine. And he was like, oh, well, bro, you know, I ain't really a Mason, man. I had initiated. I love the philosophy of Masonry. I love the teachings of Masonry. So I went and brought some books and I read them. And I said, bro, you real good at it. I did. I said, you're real good at it. But when we got to that point, he was like, oh, no, I'm not part of any Masonic Lodge or Grand Lodge. And I was like, okay, cool. I can't take his book. I can't take the knowledge that he's obtained. I can't take anything from that person. What I could offer to do for him is to bring him in and to initiate him, because he already knew the work in a sense. He didn't understand it per se. He just knew it. People can have information and be able to divulge it, but to understand the process is something different. And that's for every Mason or every Eastern Star in their journey. Because you can order an OES book online right now, but are you going to understand what you've read? And you're not going to understand it unless you've gone through the process or the ritualistic ceremonies. You can get it and read it. That's just like becoming a Christian. You'll never know what it's like to be a Christian until you've gone through the ritualistic ceremonies of becoming a Christian. And people can tell me all the time, it's not a ritual. To become a Christian is a ritual. You do it every first Sunday. You break the bread, you eat. Remember, this is the body that was broken for you, and drink the blood that represents the blood of Christ. That's a ritual. If that's the definition of a ritualistic ceremonies. I'm not divulging anything. That's something the church do every Sunday that everybody sees. It's just like Masons who do public installation. You ever gone to a Masonic public installation? They have the Holy Bible, the square, and the compass right there on the altar. It's nothing that when you walk in, I've gone to many of public installations of officers from various jurisdictions, and right there on the altar is the Holy Bible, the square, and the compass. My question to you tonight, for those of you here, is where did it come from? And why only in America that you will find just the Bible on the altar? That's the question. That's not divulging anything, Brother Smith. We can agree to disagree. I just don't see that I'm divulging anything. I'm just asking a question to those who may be enlightened enough to even share it with me. Hey, I love the content, but I think I saw you at Diddy's freak off party. Like, come on, Chris. Not like that. I don't have that. I don't have that type of access. I don't have that one. They shouldn't, and that doesn't mean it's right. I never said it was right or wrong. Every jurisdiction is sovereign. Every last one of them. And every last jurisdiction do things differently than the next jurisdiction. That is a fact. I was just in May, I was at the new Masonic Lodge that was being chartered under the Grand Lodge of California. Upon that lodge being chartered, on that altar was a Bible, a square, and a compass. Plain and simple. When the Grand Master of California took his obligation last week, it was broadcast live. It was broadcast live. He took it upon the Holy Bible, the square, and the compass, and you can see it plain as day. So I see your point. I can agree to disagree with it, but it's public information. This is not something that I'm divulging and people don't know. Public information. Nah, brother, I'm just having a discussion. I'm not teaching. I'm just having a discussion. My topic tonight is an open conversation piece. I would like to know for those who are Masons and maybe those who are not, where did the square and the compass, not just the square and the compass, but how is it that in the United States, only the Bible is up on the altar? Only in the United States, amongst many Grand Lodges, particularly Prince Hall, and I would say Modern Free International, I would say PHO, I would say mostly all Masonic Grand Lodges in the United States will have a Bible up on the altar. Will. And I want to know why. So that's my question to the audience. And I know quite a few of you that's going to pop through. You're Masons. So my question to you is why? I have my own opinion based upon things I've read. And I will share that. I will share my opinion based upon what I've read. And that's all I really have. But upon my travels, I've discovered that that's not necessarily true. And it's not say that it's wrong or right. It's only a practice. It is a practice. And this is what I've come across. So let me share this with you. For those of you who are here tonight, first of all, I want to welcome you here. And that was wrong. Irregularity. No. No, it wasn't. It wasn't. It wasn't wrong. It was not. And I would tell this to any Mason is that, first of all, your practice and what you do in regards to your Grand Lodge is what you do. And what other Grand Lodges do is what they do. Because what I've learned is that every Grand Lodge does not abide by those landmarks that we so proudly hold and say, these are the 25 landmarks of Masonry. They should never be broken. Da, 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 da. Well, the question I've always asked everybody, who wrote those 25 landmarks? Who wrote them? And if they apply to your Grand Lodge, then that's who they apply to. What I've learned by talking to other Masons and Grand Masters is that they're like, no, I may take 4 or 5 of them, but all 25, no, they don't apply to me. I wrote the ones that apply to me, I will use them. If they don't apply to me, I don't use them. And I was like, wow, okay. Every Grand Lodge constitution is different. Every Grand Lodge and their bylaws are different. So the Constitution and bylaws are two totally separate things. And I've learned that every Grand Lodge have their own Constitution and their own bylaws. What applies to me may not apply to you, Masonically speaking, in regards to jurisdictions. Because when you take that obligation, you know as well as I do, you take that obligation to your lodge, to your brothers, and to God, and to the Brotherhood of Freemasonry. So that's the circle that you take it to. And it's true. So now, what do you do with that? How do you apply that? So no, I'm here to learn too, like a lot of people. I've talked to quite a few people who have shared information with me, who have enlightened me, who have taught me some things, and I'm like, okay, some things I don't know everything. So my question is for those who are here tonight is in regards to the square and the compass and the Bible. Why is it in the United States that every lodge has a Bible? And why is it that outside of the United States is not like that? Those are just 2 questions that I have. So it's open. Let's see. My Grand Lodge has the Torah. Oh, the Quran and the Bible. Each represents the brother who have those religions. Okay. Brother Taylor, yeah, I can see that. I would say in my lodge, we have adopted the same thing. We have, because we have brothers who are in my lodge who are Muslims. We have brothers in my lodge who practice a different faith other than Christianity. So I can agree with that, because it is clearly said that Masons accept all men regardless of their religious beliefs. That's what it says. The only thing you do when you are looking to become a Mason is to clarify that you do believe in a supreme being. If I'm wrong, somebody can tell me I'm wrong. That is the standard process. That's now, hold on, let me back that up. That's the standard process that I've found here in the States. Okay? Outside of the United States, in some jurisdictions, they just ask you if you believe in a creator. Here we say supreme creator. Some may say the grand architect of the universe, but is the creator. So I'm finding a variety of differences within the confines of the Masonic order itself. I'm finding these things out. So when I look at it, and for myself, I'm like, wow, that's interesting. 4 books on my altar. Wow, Spirit of Justice, you got 4 books. Okay, that's interesting. That is interesting. I appreciate it. This is definitely the topic of episodes we have to call in for. I tell you what, if you want to call in tonight, anybody, you can call me at 619. I can't put it in because I'm live on my phone right now. But you can call in tonight if you want. 619-286-0642. And we can have that conversation piece. I'm totally okay with that. Let me double check something real quick. But yeah, definitely you can hit me up at that number. Yep, you can shoot that over to me. 619 2860642 if you want to have a conversation tonight regarding that, because I just found it interesting. I'm just sharing with you what I found interesting. You know, I know other people be like, wow, you know, yeah. I mean, just think about it for a moment. Anybody who's a Mason, anybody who's anything in the Masonic order, or even if you're interested, whatever that may look like, because I know I've had people that ask me, well, I'm not a Christian. I can't join Masonry. I'm a Catholic. I can't join Masonry. Oh, well, but you can. I know Catholics who are Masons. I know Catholics who are Masons. You will. And here's the kicker. You're a Catholic who's a Mason, but they won't allow you to have your Masonic funeral in a Catholic church. I'm going to say this again. You're a Catholic and you're a Mason, but they won't allow you to have your Masonic funeral here. Please call in at 619-286-0642. I cannot take your phone calls on this phone, okay? I'm broadcasting live from my phone, so I can't take it that way. So if you're trying to call me, I'm not going to be able to take your call, all right? Your ritual lauders make mention of nothing but the Bible. Well, I'm going to surprise you with something, Brother Steve Smith. Here in this jurisdiction, we have our own rituals, okay? We may at times use Lester's or Duncan's, depending, but we actually have our own rituals. And within our ritual, it says volumes of sacred law. That's what we say. Now, I know you and I go way back. We do. We go way back. Volume of sacred law is what it says, VSL. Simple. It doesn't, we don't reference a particular Bible as we know it in our lodge anymore, because of a variety of brothers who have come through the door. And so we just say volume of sacred law. Which book do you choose to take this obligation on? Which book? Be it a Quran, be it a Torah, be it a Bible, or the Constitution, a volume of sacred law. So that's what we present to the membership that comes through these doors, because if you're going to tell me that Mason regards no man for his religious belief, then you must supply, or you must have on the altar for that brother a particular book of faith that he chooses. I'm sorry. People keep trying to call me. I'm sorry. People keep trying to call me. Please, if you want to call me, I'm going to give you a number. And I know quite a few of you have this number, but I'm going to give you another number call. Please call 619-286-0642. Then we can talk. You're interrupting my live when you're calling, and I know you got questions, and I'm up for answering. I'm up for having a conversation. Okay, the VSL is the volume of sacred law. You're right, Grandmaster Smith. You're right. I called in, but I think one of the other brothers wanted to call in first. So anybody who wants to call in, 619-286. There you go. I appreciate that. All right. Greetings.
He's saying greetings to the east, Brother Majesty.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm all right. I don't do much time because I'm pretty sure some other brothers going to call in to discuss this.
Okay.
Topic. But it's interesting. Repeat it again, please.
No, I was saying in regards to the compass and the square in the Bible. I was saying that in the United States, for those of us who have gone through the doors of Masonry or thinking about it, we all know that there's a Bible, a square, and a compass on that altar. But the question is, why is that? I'm just asking a question because
all right.
Because I have my own opinion about it. But I want to hear from those who are interested in becoming a Mason and those who are Masons, because it's there, it's plain as daylight. If you've only visited your lodge, if you've only gone to your Masonic events, these are the things that you're not going to see. Plain and simple. So I'm open.
This is what I'll say, because I think you mentioned America, right? Particularly.
Yeah, I mentioned America in particular. Yes, I did.
So this is my opinion on it. Masonry is in our mythology, and you know what I mean by mythology, our ritual.
Yes.
Our legend. They're Judeo-Christian as far as on the surface. And of course they don't match what the Bible says, right?
Yeah, it doesn't.
Exactitude is like poetic license and Masonic legends as compared to what the Bible would say about certain things. However, the basis of it is, again, biblical. It's based on biblical things. Building up King Solomon's temple, Hiram Abiff, so on and so forth. So if you look at when Masonry took its rise, and we're talking before 1717, we're talking about in Scotland. Masonry, so far as we know, I'm saying the structure we have, the Masonic order as we have it now, it begins in Scotland. The oldest lodge records are from Scotland. The oldest ritual manuscripts are from Scotland. Then it came into England. But long story short, in that time period, which would be, let's say, the 1500s, 1600s, and even a little earlier than that, there was no separation of church and state.
Okay.
In Europe, everything was Christian. As far as the public sector, everything was Christian. Not like America right now, where there's a separation of church and state. You know what I mean? So,
okay,
the surface of Masonry has the Judeo-Christian element to it. But esoterically, as I know you know, and any studious brother knows, it's mystical, it's Kabbalistic. Somebody else mentioned in the comment section, Kemet. We have many allusions to Kemetic spirituality and Masonry. Masonry is esoterically, if you can read in between the lines of it, it connects all spiritual paths, so to speak. Right?
But okay, so I'm hearing what you're saying. You saying Masonry connects, it can, all spiritual paths. But with that being said, with so many Masons here in the United States who are Christians, be it whether they're Catholics, be it whether they're Jehovah's Witnesses, because there are some Jehovah's Witnesses who are Masons. Let's not get it twisted. Be it whether they are Baptist or Pentecostal, because there are a lot of different Masons. There are a lot of different individuals who are Masons who have a variety of faiths. Okay. And my thing is that in the United States, I think you alluded to this earlier, is that because of where it came from, there was no separation of church and state. So therefore, that book, as we know it, the Bible, was then placed upon its altar. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, but only in this sense, and that, like in my jurisdiction, the Bible, the King James version of the Bible particularly, is the only book that stands on the altar, but we're not Christian.
Okay.
We're not. There's a reason for it, and what I was explaining is that that's how Masonry, as we practice it, started. It doesn't mean it's Christian. If it was Christian, we would just go to church. We wouldn't need Masonry. But in those times, I'm talking about the 1500s, 1600s, 1700s, before the Enlightenment period, the American Revolution and all of that type of stuff. Society was Christian on the surface, so we have secret teachings that were not meant for people to know about.
Well,
now,
hold on just a second. Pardon me for cutting you off. With all due respect, Hey, if anybody else want to call in, I'm going to give you the number again, 619-286-0642. So as soon as this brother hang up, someone else can welcome to call in. I'm just taking calls as they get them. Go ahead, brother. Finish up.
All right, definitely. So once, particularly the American Revolution happened and the French Revolution happened, before that, it was really French Freemasons that started to innovate. Like you see how you mentioned the landmarks earlier, right?
Correct.
Those are Mackey's landmarks. That's a whole other subject.
I'm gonna touch on that a little bit. I'm gonna touch on that a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, that would take so long, but you kind of touched upon it. But the thing is that French Masons really started to do innovations. There's nothing wrong with that. But if, like you said, a lot of people don't talk to brothers from across the pond or in different continents and stuff. But historically, French Masons made a lot of innovations, which is, there's nothing wrong with it. And like, not straight away from, the point is that they understood, like, listen, we're not a Christian order. If we appear to be a Christian order before there was a separation of church and state. Because I'll give you an example. Like, Iran is a Islamic republic, right?
Correct.
It's the religion of Iran. Officially, there's no separation of religion and state in Iran. They have Jews there and stuff like that, but the government is Muslim.
Right.
So if you live there, and Masonry is illegal in Iran, by the way, you would have to present whatever you're presenting in a Muslim garb. You know what I mean?
Correct.
So,
and you saying that, I'm going to add this to that.
Yeah.
With you saying that, and for those of us who do know, yes, it is illegal. So, to me, that is where you're going to find the true essence of Masonry. Not here in the United States, per se, but there, because it's hidden. And only those who know will know, because of the seriousness of being caught and being and saying that you're a Mason. In that country, you don't want to be caught and say you're a Mason. You cannot wear the emblem I got on publicly or a ring displaying Masonic emblems. You can't do it. You will be killed. And to me, knowing that is where you're going to find when you say secret society. Yeah. Because there is no lodge there. There is no Masonic lodges, although there are Masons. There is no Masonic lodge.
Yeah, and in fact, the Grand Lodge that they did have before the revolution of 1979 with Ayatollah Khomeini, that Grand Lodge exists here. And
it does.
East California.
It does. It is called the Grand Lodge of
Iran in Exile.
Correct. That's the name of the Grand Lodge. And you're right.
Yeah.
They are here in California. They are recognized by the Grand Lodge of California. And yeah, they're bringing in members. They're bringing in members, and those members go back to that country and they initiate, they do what they do, but you would never know. You would never know. They wear nothing to identify themselves with the order whatsoever.
Right. And that's why, like, this is important because, like, a lot of people don't necessarily, like, follow what you do. A lot of people do, but a lot of people don't. So they wouldn't know, like, you will go to, like, Albania or you will go to Romania. Like, you travel literally around the world, you in particular. So they get so caught up with the narrative, as you would say, which is like lies. I hate people that lie, but they do. Like, he can't go anywhere and all of this nonsense. And it's like, you know better. So the reason I mentioned the French Masonic tradition is that was like the first tradition that was more innovative in a sense. Like, I'm going
to take you back a little bit farther than the French.
Right.
Because a lot of people like to bring in the narrative of the Knights Templars who later went into exile after they was killed. And then they say that as they began to come back, Freemasonry arose out of the Templars from the stonemasons, but they always try to make the connection. I'm going to beg to differ, because the more I read, the more stuff I find out, the more I tend to waver based on the information, based on what's being presented and how it's presented. And I'm seeing things from different points of views. I don't see masonry coming out of the stonemasons. I understand the connection. I just don't see it that way. All they would
you're right. It doesn't. You're right, brother. It does not add up. But you mentioned the Templars, so it's like, do you see a connection between the Templars and Masonry?
I can see that. I can see that scenario more so than anything else. Although the Templars is more of a Christian organization, or more of a Christian banner, because of Jacques Demonet, who said, "In this sign we shall conquer." And if you look at how they came about, as far as what they was really in search for, when you read the book called the Hiram Key. Now, just for those of you who don't know, the individuals who wrote the book Hiram's Key were not Masons at first. They became Masons after they did their research. That's why they became Masons. After they did their research, then they became Masons. But if you read that book right there, that was one of the first books I read in regards to Masons straight through. And it was just that deep, just that intriguing, when these two individuals who went in search regarding Masonry, and they put that information together, I was like, yeah, that's the book you got to get in your archive. Hiram Key, get that book for your archive.
Yep, it's Brother Christopher Knight and Brother Robert Loman.
Right.
And
go ahead.
This the only reason, because you brought the Templar thing up, and you see how you just said that, like the Templars, of course, were initially a Catholic order. Initially, right?
Until they was killed by the Knights of Hospitalitors.
Right, but this is the thing. Like, remember, like a few days ago, I don't want to digress, but remember a few days ago you were talking about how you were talking in terms of Scottish Rite Masonry and certain comparisons to the Roman Catholic Church, right?
Correct.
So a lot of individuals don't study, like, let's say with the Templars, again, they started in either 1118 or 1119 AD. At that time, the Roman Catholic Church is the world power.
Yes.
They're not allowing some other religion in their territory, you know what I mean?
Correct.
Exist. So therefore, if somebody was a mystic, right?
And I'm going to add to that. That's why the Knights Templars in the I want to say the Muslims, but there's another name for them, the Assassins. The Knights Templar and the Assassins actually teamed up.
Yeah.
I know we're kind of getting off subject a little bit.
I think we're on point.
The Knights Templars and the Assassins, who were Muslims, they teamed up, because if you are a Knights Templar and you are a 32nd degree, when you become a Shriner, you should understand, why did the Knights Templar link up with the Muslims?
Exactly.
We was headed somewhere. We was going someplace else, because, like, you know, that the Knights Templars, they was really in search of what we call the Holy Grail, in a sense. I want to throw that out there, because that plays a part. But with that being said, they were mystics.
Yeah.
Okay. Based upon my readings, I'm only sharing with you different books I've read and why I got where I'm at right now. But they were, because the Knights Templars and the Assassins, who were Muslims, they joined forces.
Yep.
The Muslims protected the Christians as they was headed to Jerusalem. And the Knights Templars did the same thing. The Pope got pissed at them, because they were protectors of the assassins. They were protectors of those who had the pilgrimage. They were. Right. That was just one of the reasons the Pope was like, oh, no, we got to get rid of y'all. No, it's time for you to go.
Right. And this is why, like, I don't think we're straying at all. I think it all ties in. Because, like, you'll talk about Scottish Rite Masonry sometimes, right?
Right.
And I know it's so much because there's so many degrees of the Scottish Rite that it's hard to, like, you know, try to cover all bases in just one episode. But it's, without saying too much, if you are a Scottish Rite Mason, which you are, I'm just talking in respect to the audience.
Wait. Somebody just popped up. I want to send my brother a big shout out from Africa. I see you. Thank you for the corrections. Thank you. I see what you put in there. They were not assassins. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. Much love. Thank you. Go ahead.
So you would see certain Templar allusion, not even allusions, it's very clear, like Jacques de Molay. Jacques de Molay's name is prominent in the Scottish Rite if you study your Scottish Rite degree.
He is.
That's the last public Grand Master of the Knights Templar. So there's no question that, without saying too much, there's no question that it's a part of Masonic tradition. Even in the Blue Lodge, if you know where to look for it.
If you know where to look for it. But hey, do me a favor. I want to get this other call that's trying to beep in real quick.
No.
Hey, you know I appreciate you. I really do, and thank you for calling. So let me get the next caller in, so we can continue the conversation. I appreciate it.
All right, Pastor Grandmaster, thank you.
Hey, I appreciate you. So the next caller, you can call in at 619-286-0642. So if the lines are open right now, I know somebody tried to call in earlier, was busy. So if you want to call now, go right ahead. You hear it right there. I'm cleared. So if you want to call in, go ahead. Hello and good evening. Oh, well, hey, greetings, Tookie Williams. Greetings to you. Tookie Williams, Tookie. You know, I was going somewhere when I saw that. But with that being said, if anybody else want to call in, you're certainly welcome to do so. So tonight's discussion is the Holy Bible, the square, and compass. Where did they come from? Upon the altars in Freemasonry. This is no secret. I'm interested in it because I've come to my own conclusion in regards to what I've found in my readings, and I'm sharing. I'm just sharing, and I'm learning from those who may know something that I don't know. Greetings.
Greetings, Hawkins. This is Brother Eden.
Hey, Brother Eden, what you got?
I'm doing good, man. I just want to present myself real quick. I'm Brother Eden from Haley, from the Worshipful Prince Hall Grand Lodge of Colorado. So I just want to do that up front. Rocky Mountain Lodge #1. Let people know that I'm in this. So the question I want to ask, Hawkins, about what you were talking about is the Bible. And now here's a quick thing I've been thinking about right now. I've been researching. And if any Brother Mason looks upon this and indulge themselves, they would know that King James was a Mason and that this is the main Bible that we use today at the altar. So now the question is, did he put something in the Bible to, let's say, give us some knowledge? And us, I mean the brothers of the craft. So, Hawkins, what do you think about that?
I would say this. There's a lot of great information in the Bible because for those of us who are students of Masonry, we would know that the story that we're being told now is the second story, maybe even the third story, but I do know it's the second story to Masonry because in the first story, it was Moses. Then we get to what we know as the legend of Hiram Abiff. Could you hold on just a second, please?
Go ahead, Hawkins.
Can you still hear me okay? Hold on. I think I lost this call. I'm back, bro. I had to change over phone cover. I kept getting a clicking sound. Hold on, okay? All right, I'm back, bro. I had to change over. I'm sorry about that, everybody. I had to change over. Go ahead. Say what now?
All right, Hawkins. So, like I was saying, a lot of brothers and sisters, I would say, of the craft, Eastern Stars, just want to point that out, they don't know about the Bible that's at the altar. And going to what you were saying about this video you're making. King, I'm going to say this right now. Everybody listening right now, King James was a Mason. Point blank, period. You can all look online right now and show that he was a Mason. So now, what we have to think about now, everybody in the USA, let's just focus on the United States of America. Everybody uses the King James Bible. PHO, PHA. I mean, you're John G. Jones, so I
you
really
name it. Just say the Masons in the United States uses King James Version.
Okay, cool. All right, so we have that established. Okay, cool. I want everybody to know, again, and I can't stress this enough, King James was a Mason.
Okay, now time out. Hold that thought. Now, somebody just put in the comments, what sources do you have to say that he was a Mason?
Ladies and gentlemen, all right, so I can do this. If you just go online right now, y'all can press pause on the video right now. I'm not saying to press pause. If you just put on King James was a Mason, you will see from the Grand Lodge that they have him listed from his first degree, EA, all the way to his master's degree, ladies and gentlemen. So I just want to say, again, I want to give your flowers to you. I'm going to say this right now, ladies and gentlemen. I did my research from listening to your videos and did my own research and found out that, look at this. King James was a Mason. So I'm giving you your flowers, brothers.
Hey, I appreciate
right now.
that.
I want to make sure I do that.
Thank you.
That's why I called in. Because it was because of your research that pushed me to look into more about the Bible. And I was like, hey, look what we found, ladies and gentlemen. So I just want to just say that right now. So I just want people to ponder on it, you know? Mm-hmm. That's all, Hawkins. And then what did he put in there for us to maybe dissect? Again, I'm talking to the Masons right now. Y'all need to look into this Bible and dissect what this brother Mason said to us. I know some people won't call him a brother or anything like that, but he is a Mason and he left things for us to dissect.
Okay, so someone just put in the line, they want to know your name and where did you hail from?
All right,
that's up to you. That's up to you.
Man, hopefully my Grand Lodge won't come back to me now.
You know, you're just giving a perspective. We're not talking anything Masonically in the lodge. This is just a perspective. Really, this is a perspective. This is your perspective based upon what you read. This is no Masonic Lodge information. So this is just anybody's perspective.
Okay, I want to name some books real fast, real quick, where people can find this information real fast. And I do want to say this too, Hawkins. I will say this. I hope everybody's listening. Everybody listening, real quick for me right now.
Go for it.
Hawkins told me about the UGLE and I'm going to say it's the ancients, about them not, ladies and gentlemen, the UGLE was not made at 1717. That is false, okay? They were made late. They were made later on with the ancients and I forgot their name. Premier Grand Lodge. There it is.
Yeah.
The Premier Grand Lodge fused together, and that was in the 1800s, ladies and gentlemen. So I just want to get that across. I want to get that across because Hawkins, from your videos, I've done my research, and 1717 doesn't add up at all, Hawkins. And in the book, everybody can look at it. The book is called, I'll say it twice, A New Encyclopedia of Freemason by author Edward Waite.
I have that one.
Volumes 1 and 2.
Yeah. You're right. That you told me, go read it for yourself.
That's it, Hawkins. I'm just trying to tell people, I deliver the message, do your own research, what you stress so much on your channel.
Yep.
Hawkins.
And that's the thing. I appreciate you calling in. If you have to go, I understand it, and someone else can call in. The number is going to be 619-286-0642. I tell the people all the time, if you don't think what I'm telling you is true, go do your own research and come back and tell me, this is what I found. This is what I know. And I'm open to it. I'm not here to criticize any person based on the information that they have found, because you can find some stuff that I just don't know. I'm just here to share. And I'm here to enlighten and inform people in regards to Masonry, because what happens is a lot of us get caught up in the nuances of what my Grand Lodge do and what they do and what they do over here. But Masonry is worldwide. It's literally worldwide.
Yes.
It's literally that.
Exactly.
So what you're going to find here in the United States is great, but you go outside of the United States, you're going to find something similar, but yet different. I'm going to say that again. What you find here in the United States, as far as Masonry, is great, but you go outside of the continent on these shores, you're going to find Masonry similar. It's going to be similar. It's not going to be exactly like it is here. And it's not going to be practiced the same. It's not. So I don't call anybody clandestine or irregular or anything because you don't practice it the way I do. You don't open your lodge the way I do. You don't say what I do. I'm cool with that. Do we understand the principles though? If we both can get the principles down.
And again, Hawkins, I hate to. Do we what? What the principles?
Do we practice the principles?
There we go.
If we got the principles down, then we understand each other. Because no matter where I go, this is what never changes. The grip, the word, and the sign, they never change. You don't have to have any other landmarks. You don't have to open the way I open or pronounce words the way I pronounce them. But they never change. The signs, the passwords never change. Never.
They never change.
So to me, those are your landmarks. Those are the things that can take you any place around the world if you practice the principles and pretenses of Masonry. I don't care who you are, because I've seen it for myself.
That's why I appreciate you, Hawkins. Yes, I don't care who you are. We know the principles in the bylaws.
Yep. It's right there. It's right there. So I'll share this. I just had my session in Los Angeles, and I think I shared this on my last video. And the brother wife seen me in the lobby with my Masonic regalia on, leaving the meeting, and she's like, "Oh, you're a Mason?" I said, "Yeah." She's like, "My husband is a Mason."
Ooh.
And I told her, I said, "Well, when you see your husband, you tell your husband that you talk to Harriman Biff." She was like, "He knows you?" I said, "He will know me." She went and found her husband and told him, "This black guy has Masonic regalia on. He told me to tell you that I talked to Harriman Biff." You know, this guy came looking for me. And he seen me. He's like, hey.
I need to know where he at. Where he?
He did. He came to me. He said, "Hey, Brother Walker, it's true." This brother came to me. He said, "Hey, you." I was like, "Yeah." We looked. He's like, "Hey, brother." He came over. He didn't greet me you know, with the regular grip. He didn't grip me. He didn't grip me that way. He went,
Okay.
you know, he did his thing. And we was like, okay. And then he said, yes, I am a traveler. And man, he held up his forearm, right? He held up his forearm. Okay. Within his tattoo was Masonic emblems hidden within the tattoo. I was like, oh, that is, wow. You had to know what you was looking at to understand his tattoo, because his tattoo had Masonic emblems and symbols hidden. I was like, that is like, you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know. You had to go through the rites and ceremonies in order to understand what you're seeing.
Hawkins, can I say something real quick?
Go for it.
What is Freemasonry?
Yeah, for those who know,
is a system of morality and veiled in what?
Allegories and symbols.
Let's go, baby. Come on. Let's go, Hawkins. Hawkins, this is the definition and the attribute of our fraternity.
Yep.
People need to understand what symbols do for people and for a society.
Well, you know what? Let's face it. Symbols were the first language.
Let's go. Let's go, Hawkins. That's exactly what I was about to say.
That's the first language. You talking about language amongst people. Symbols were the first language until we was able to speak, and then we devised our own languages because of the symbolism. But symbols were the first language to unite man.
Yeah.
You seen an arrow? Everybody, maybe you can pronounce it in my language, but when you seen the symbol of an arrow, you know what it meant.
Yes. Yes, Hawkins.
You know, so those things unite us. And if
can I say,
go ahead.
Was the hieroglyphs maybe symbols?
Of course.
Dang, Hawkins.
Of course. Those who can read it, and those who can't.
Ooh.
Because they're all symbols.
Veiled in allegory. Ooh.
Man.
Awesome.
And I'll tell you what, for you 33rds.
Ooh, okay.
For you 33rds, when you get there, you'll understand exactly what this brother just said. Plain and simple. When you get there.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna meet those what we call I want to say it without really saying it.
Uh-huh.
And I can't say it without really saying it. Shit. I'm trying to think of a way to say it, man. But you're gonna meet them people. Lack of a better word.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a lack of a better word. You're gonna meet them gods.
Ooh. Hey, before I let you go, Hawkins, I do want to say this. Why is everybody calling his name Jesus when J wasn't invented to the 1500s? Ooh.
Well, because there was actually two of them.
Ooh. Talk to me, Hawkins. Talk to me.
Go look at the name Barabbas. Go look at the name itself, not what they say, but go look at him and see there were actually two. Okay? And it wasn't a Jesus factor.
Oh, it wasn't. Okay, hold on. Say that one more time, Hawkins. One more time.
I'm saying that go and look for yourself. There was actually two individuals like the Christ we're talking about. We was talking about the Christ, the man himself, just for people to give a better understanding of Jesus. And then there was another guy. He walked the same walk. Okay? So when you look at it, you will find, and a lot of people would say, Jesus wasn't killed. And a lot of people say, yeah, he was. But go and do your research on it, on the 26 Jesuses. It's 26 of them.
Hawkins, you need to stop. I've been told from my pastor, remember, Hawkins, I don't read the Bible. I go to church every day. On the Sunday. So, Hawkins, I've never heard this. You need to explain more, Hawkins.
All I'm saying, for those of you who don't know, go read about those other Christs and those other Jesus that came before the one that we know today. That's all I'm saying.
Not in the Bible. Hawkins, stop. I can't go from everything that's not in the Bible, Hawkins. What are you saying right now?
I have a book that is called The Illuminating Light. And brother, I cracked that book open, I began to read it, and I set it aside.
Oof.
I did that.
Did you stop talking? You did that.
I had to set the book down, because what I've learned is that old books, not a revised version. I need an old actual copy of a book, the old one. They have more information in them than do the revised books. So when you go pick up your King James, you put that down. Go get the one way before it was revised. Go get the one that talks about the it escapes me right there. Anyway, I'll come back to it. It's gonna come to me. But go get the one that talks about what before the prayer was changed. Because now when you pray, I'm just saying, for the most part, people say, "Forgive us of our debts as we forgive our debtors." Go look at the one that says, "Forgive us of our sins as we forgive those who sin against us." Go look at the 1711 King James versions versus any other Bible. Go get that Bible. Let's not talk about the New King James, the NIV. No, kick that to the curb. 1711 Bible. Go get that Bible. Okay.
So Hawkins, before I let you go, so what do you say about English-speaking Masons in the United States? And like, hey, this is all I use. I use the King James. Okay. So you're telling me that this isn't the authentic Word of God?
Yeah.
Let me know, Hawkins.
Yeah, I am. I'm telling you, go get the 17. I think it's 1711 version. Go get that. That's the original. Go get the one the Catholics use, the 1711 one.
Okay.
Some call it the Catholic Bible. Go get that. It's different than the one that you got. Go get the one that got all the books in it, the Apocryphes. Go get that one.
Okay.
Go get the one that has the Book of Enoch in it. Get that one.
Oof. They don't want to hear, Bible scholars don't want to hear you talk about that, Hawkins.
Well, I'm just saying there's 1611. Thank you. 1611. Get that one.
Oof.
That's the one, 1611. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Giving you guys facts.
Young Jedi. Young Jedi. Big shout out to Young Jedi. 1611. Absolutely.
Hawkins, I'm going to let someone else take the line. Before I let you go, Hawkins, I appreciate you. I've been listening to your channel before I became a Mason, and I've been raised to the sublime degree of a Master Mason 2 months ago. So I want to say
congratulations.
Thank you,
hey,
Hawkins,
do me a favor.
For your knowledge.
Hey,
thank you.
I know you got my phone number.
Yeah, of course, Hawkins. You know me.
Text me your address. I got something for you.
Okay.
All right.
Hawkins.
Text it to me. I got something for you.
All right, Hawkins. Hey, blessings and from the Most High.
All right. I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, Hawkins.
All right. Hey, I want to send a big shout out to my brother Gary Walker on here tonight. I mean, he was at the session last week, man. Look, I'm going to tell you, it started off slow. Our session started off slow, and but it ended with a bang. And I want to congratulate the new Sublime Princess of the Royal Secrets. I want to congratulate you on your journey. I want to congratulate the new Grand Inspector Generals. Congratulations on your journey into the 33rd. Congratulations. Yeah, you got some work to do. But with that being said, we're going to get back on topic tonight in regards to the Bible, the square and the compass. I want to send a big shout out to my brother who just got off the phone with me. Yeah, go back and listen to this, and he'll tell you where he's from. He'll tell you. But with that being said, as we indulge ourselves and look at this for what it's worth, I'm going to share with you some of the places I've been and what I've seen. I was visiting a lodge here in the States, right? And I went to their meeting, and I approached the altar, and I looked at how things were situated on the altar, and I was like, that's not right. I was in lodge. I was like, that's not right. And the brother looked at me. He was like, Brother Tony, I know you. I know you're Worshipful Master. I know what lodge you're from. You're saying what you see on this altar is not right. I was like, it's cloudy as a thunderstorm. He was like, Senior Deacon, 10 lights. Senior Deacon went up. He checked. He was like, it's good to go, Worshipful. He said, Brother Hawkins, you are a visitor here. And what you see here is the way we do it here. And you know what I did? I sat down. That was my first lesson. That was my first true lesson. It's just because the way I do it in my lodge, and I go visit you and I may see something a little different, that's not irregular or clandestine. That's just how you do it. All Masonic lodges don't open alike. All of them do not close alike. And in my journey, I've learned so much because of my visitation. And where I go, I'm like, this is what I want. I want to see this. Who always want to have a bologna sandwich? Although I do like Oscar Mayer bologna. I do. I'm from Mississippi. I like cutting the bologna up and having with some cheese. But I can't eat that all the time. I want something different. Plain and simple. In Masonry, if you travel, you're going to see something different. And you're going to be enlightened on a variety of different things within the confines of the organization itself. It's what it is. I just seen my brother from Texas on here. King Cab, what's going on with you, brother? I hope things are well with you. I just checked your podcast out. Good information, brother. Appreciate it. Great information. The Catholic Bible is based on St. Jerome translation. It is from the 1400s. Okay, but in addition to that, I'm just saying, in addition to that, when you go and you read that Catholic Bible, it is different more so than what we read in today's King James version. And I never would tell a Catholic that person is not a Christian. I won't tell a Pentecostal he's not. I can't do that. I won't do that. You know, no, I'm not going to do that. I know people who like to religiously gangbang. You know, oh, you wasn't baptized in the name of Jesus, so therefore you're not. Oh, you wasn't dipped in water, so therefore you were not. Man, look, we can go back and forth over the small stuff. I mean, you know, some people don't do first Sundays. You know what they do on first Sundays? You go to church and you go through the drinking the wine and eating the blood. Some people don't do. Catholics do that all through the week. You can go confess your sins and they break the boom. That's all week long. I'm just saying that when we begin to break this thing down and we look at it in the United States, most lodges have a Bible on the altar. The reason is why? Are they Christians? Is that a Christian organization? I'm just asking why. And then I know if you're outside of the country, for the most part, you would only find a square and compass in some lodges. Why? Why is it in the United States you'll find the Bible? Is it because we're symbolizing a Christian point of view in regards to Masonry? And on the outside of the country where I've gone to visit, you only see the compass and square. And my question is, why is that? I would personally like to know. I have my own opinion based upon my own journeys. And I'm just sharing that with you tonight. Don't trip, just trying to hook up, sir. What's up, Mitch? How you doing? Brother Victor Williams, if you want to call in, sir, you're certainly welcome to call in. The number is 619-286-0642. I'm hoping that this is making for a very interesting conversation for those of you who are Masons, those of you who are seeking to become Masons, or maybe you're Eastern Star. That's a whole nother subject. But I'm just saying, because, and I'm going to say this, the United States and maybe a few other places, just a few other places, only have the Eastern Star. When you leave the United States and you go other places, you will not find the Eastern Stars. You won't. Plain and simple. It's a fact. You may find them on military bases because some of the sisters who may have been Eastern Stars here in the state, they may do that. But other than that, it's not. Yes, somebody else can call in and bill. Certainly can. King Cap, if you're online right now, sir, thank you for putting the phone number in, 619-286-0642. I think the square and compass is based in the grip of the Mason. The symbolism of the square and compass is best in the philosophy of Freemasonry. That's that. There you go. Greetings and welcome.
Brother Tony Harmon.
Yeah, what's going on?
Turn my computer down, my brother. Hold 1 second.
Okay.
It's always a pleasure to hear from you, and it's always a pleasure to see you. I'm kicking it here in Dar es Salaam, Mr. Muhammad, today, and it's a rainy day here in Dar es Salaam. I'm 7 hours ahead of you. I got an investment farm to go to, and man, I woke up and I see you on. And I had to jump on for a second here. And man, you're smiling so beautiful. Look, I appreciate that conversation you just had with Brother Brother Khomeini.
Yes.
It was beautiful, man.
Yes.
Well, I appreciate you allowing me to join it. And whenever you come to Africa, I got you covered. Everybody in the world knows I got you covered.
Hey, I know, bro. And I'm worried about. Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, no, look, let me just get to this real quick. I'm not going to take up your time. When you look at the compass and square, and you want to know its mother and father, go to what is called the Yaz, Y-A-Z, the Amazigh Yaz. Now, remember, the Amazigh, there were a group of people that were hijacked in Northeast Africa long ago, 400 or 500 years ago. They were hijacked. They were fooled. And when the reason they were fooled, you got to understand, when you look at Egypt today, Egypt was developed to accommodate about 3 million people. Mm-hmm. Okay, now today you have way more than 3 million people in Egypt, but yet it's not developing anymore. I mean, you get a building here, a building there.
Right.
But its infrastructure is not developing any more than what it has done 400 or 500 years ago. Mm-hmm. When you look at Southern Africa, where I've lived for the past 17 years, you do not see that same architecture. So there's a builder that came up from the Ethiopian part of Africa up into Egypt, running from his cousins, like people from the north ran from their cousins in the south. They went to New York, but they were from the Carolinas.
Yeah, that's true.
A similar thing happened in Africa. And these people from Northeast Africa, the Europeans knew that they were God and that they had the ability to build the new world, the new world being America. There's no other African that could build like that man that was in Northeast Africa who built the pyramids.
Right.
Some of the other structures along the Nile. So who is this man and where is he today? Well, if you go to the Americas, you look at Little Richard's face. When you look at Little Richard's face, his face is a little different from your face. His face is a little broad. It's a little round. If you look at his phenotype, I'm just naming Little Richard as one famous person that we all can identify with in terms of this. I'm getting to the Yaz and its relationship to the compass. When you look at Little Richard, you're looking at a Northeast African Berber. Okay? That's what you're looking at.
Okay.
When you look at you, you're looking at a brother coming up out of Mali, Ghana, West Africa. Okay? You're still same family. You're still African family, but I'm just pointing out different regions of the world where Little Richard came from versus where you came from. Okay. Now, Little Richard represents coming up out of South Carolina. Now, many will tell you Masonry in America originated up out of the Carolinas, in particular South Carolina, in terms of the knowledge itself. Well, what's in South Carolina, for example, that would give us evidence of Freemasonry? Look at the Gullah people. When you spell Gullah, you're G-U-L-L-A-H. The U
interchangeable because it's a vowel.
Spell it again. You said G-U what?
Allah in the word Gullah. You see, just like you have the word Allah in the word Tallahassee. When you look and see these Islamic words throughout the Carolinas and the South, where did they come from? When you look at the compass, you're looking at what the Amazigh, those people that were kidnapped, brought to the Americas, because they are the builders. They're the only ones that knew how to build. When you look at the Washington Monument, we know it's 555 feet tall. Well, there's a science to that.
It is.
And when you look at the Washington Monument, square it off. It's squared off because it's 78 by 78 and the coordinates.
And when you go, and I'm going to share this, when you go inside of the Washington Monument, look at the elevator key. That's all I'm going to say. For those of you who have never gone, and if you ever go to Washington, go inside, look at the elevator key, the button you're going to push to take you up. Look at that. That's all I'm going to say. Go ahead. My apologies. Go ahead.
Well, you see the Freemasonic signs within that, I'm sure. I've been to the top of the building, but it's been a long time. And it's beautiful that you understand that. Where did these signs and symbols come from? They came from North Africa. When you look at the word Amazigh, that's a group of people who came in from North Africa. They brought their signs and their symbols because the Caucasians didn't have it. Remember the papal bulls that the Catholic Church put out in the 1000s, the 1100s.
Mm-hmm.
Papal bulls were designed to look for certain people who had certain knowledge and either co-opt them or kill them.
Right.
And the certain knowledge goes into the building on the square plane, as well as understanding the arch plane, which is our heavenly stars above us, the oxygen, hydrogen, and things of that nature. The bottom line is, if you look at the Yaz, Y-A-Z, that's the birthplace of the compass and square. Yaz is simply a symbol that symbolizes freedom for those Amazigh that came into America. You can call them Northeast Africans. They go by Berbers, Moors. They go by different names, brother. But you need to, I put a face on it. Paul Mooney, who used to work with Paul Mooney, Richard Pryor, those are people from Northeast Africa. Some of them mix with the West African. When you look at Richard Pryor, and you look at his mother and father, when you look at Malcolm X, you look at his mother and father, you're looking at a dark-skinned men and light-skinned women all throughout the South. That's because those that came under the West African flag, military flag, around the 1800s, they had just kicked Napoleon's ass, and the United States government wanted to use them in the westward expansion. So when I initially spoke with you and I told you it was a beautiful thing that you and someone like the brother that you associate with out of Georgia, I told you it was a beautiful thing.
Oh, brother Little.
Yes, because if you look at Brother Little, you know that he's from that region too. Mm-hmm. And I gave you the science of how they came in through the worldwide trade winds and travel. Mm-hmm. That's how you determine travel. And where did the Aztecs disappear? They didn't disappear. They went over into the Philippines. Mm. So you start unlocking more mysteries when you understand the symbols of people like the Amazigh that came over. Those people are still in existence, but you got to understand there's a reason why they have to be crushed out. Like Little Richard was literally crushed out. Mm. Why are those type of people always being crushed out? Like Whitney Houston, she's an Amazigh too. Why is it that it is so interesting to someone to see them hurt so bad, but they can stomach you driving around in your car in San Diego a bit more than they can Little Richard? And the reason being, it goes back to the boule. When you look at the boule symbol, when the griffin has his hand over the iron, they're keeping somebody in America hidden. Somebody that's sitting on a great deal of knowledge. And they have to keep them hidden because if they ever rise, those that are in power, look at the banking system. Those that are in power are going to come down, because in the law of nature, what was once at the bottom, if it should ever rise up to the top, what's at the top is going to come down to the bottom.
And I'm gonna add something to that, because when people think of Freemasonry, they think of builders. They think of those of stonemasons. And as I said earlier before, I was once one of those individuals. But the more information I've come across, the more I've read, I cannot add stonemasons into what we know today as Masons or Freemasons, and how when we say, oh, it came out of stonemasons. Now, the brother asked earlier, are we talking about Tennessee or are we talking about Africa? To me, when we have these conversations, they really are lapping each other, because as a Mason, I don't help you to become a good man or a better man. I don't. I help you to become a Mason. And what do Masons do?
Right.
They build. What do they build? I'm not building a house. I'm not laying any foundation. However, it is more esoteric. It is more spiritual. It is more of the essence of the man that is inside. So when you speak about building and why those individuals that you are speaking of, why they get crushed, why they get hurt, why these things happen to them, now you can go ahead. I digress. Go ahead.
No, and Tony, yes, Tony, that is the reason so many people respect you, because we know the stonemason guild scenario that's tricknology. That we all know that. But we give you credit because you were one of the first to step forward and say that's inappropriate. And to do that, yeah, you and the Honorable Minister Farrakhan should be brothers without question. Because that you're removing yourself from the speculative aspect of life. Mm-hmm. You need to know, and you do know. I'm speaking of those Masons who are in a speculative consciousness. Mm-hmm. But no, those Northeast Africans are black people still in America. When you look at your wife, all respect to you and your family. Look at her skin being copper color and the roundness in her jawline. All that's phenotypical of Northeast Africa. Mm. So that's why when I told you your wife comes from the Nile Valley, I'm just giving you somebody you're close to where you can obviously look at her and tell she's from a different tribe than you. Okay. Well, if you know, if any white person who studied anthropology history can look at you and tell you from West Africa, mm-hmm. and anybody that studied anthropology history can look at your wife and tell she's from North Africa, but you all are from Africa, because you got to understand, the Nile is where all of us originated from on this plane, and when we migrated to different places, so we're all one. But on the recent tip, West African, North African, mm-hmm. West African came into America under a military thing, the westward expansion. They proved they could fight. Your people, y'all, some of the best fighters in the world. You and Hearns, you don't think you're related to Hearns? I mean, you all are some of the best physical fighters in the world. Whereas that North African is a builder. Okay, you're a builder too. You're absolutely a builder. But I'm giving you the builder that those current Masons refuse mm-hmm. to recognize. The cornerstone. They have to keep them hidden because they know who they are, and they mm-hmm. can't let you know who they are. Right. So the bottom line is. What you've done is brought a great service to the world by putting things like this on the table, because those Northeast, those Hirems are screaming for help. And that's why the Book of Enoch is going to be present soon, in terms of you seeing the Watchers, or these ships that are going to be flying above your head and that are being seen around the world, as the Nation of Islam spoke about, not being a member, but just understanding their knowledge. When I told you also, I just want to clarify this, and I'm the story of Yaqub was spoken of in Northeast Egypt. When you look at the Amazigh, they're one of the fewer tribes in Africa who are given credit for respecting and worshiping the Metu Neter. Mm-hmm. The Metu Neter, you know of the Metu Neter. You've had many on your shows to speak of the Metu Neter. Well, that is the language of the gods.
And if these people were hijacked and taken to another land, they can never be revealed, because once they're revealed, then everything comes down. So you got to understand, when you're looking at Little Richard, Paul Mooney, people like that, when you look at them, you're looking at those who brought Freemasonry to the coast. Now, there's been a lot of mixing of people. That's why I say, when you look at Richard Pryor, you look at his father, you look at his mother, Berber woman, as in your case, and a West African man, as in your case, in your family. Same thing with Little Richard, Richard Pryor.
Right.
Richard Pryor has a father who's West African and his mother's Berber. So the bottom line is, the reason that happens so much is because when West Africans came here on a military duty, they did not have their wives. And because Dick Gregory told people, he told Bob Marley, he said, "I don't appreciate you coming up with this record, Buffalo Soldier." And Bob Marley asked him why. He said, because the Buffalo Soldiers, in other words, they were responsible for helping to kill Hiram, or as many Hirams as they possibly could. and Tony, that is your family. But you are one who rose up out of the ashes, and whether you know it or not, and said, "I'm going to do the right thing. I'm going to go to the bottom of Freemasonry to find out where this thing really comes from." And I know it didn't come from the Stonemason Guild.
Oh, no.
And that's why you're protected. That's why you're not going to have it. And aside from you being an awesome person, you're not going to have any issues in your life, because you're one of the first people who stepped forward and said, "No, this thing is coming from somewhere else."
Absolutely.
And I'm not going to pay homage to the bullshit. I'm going to pay homage to real building and real traveling and real navigating. So on that, my brother, I'm going to let you. If you have anything to say, I'd like to hear it. But I want to thank you once again. And whenever you come to Africa, just let me know.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. My daughter was just talking about it yesterday. So yeah, we gonna chat it up some more. I appreciate it. You still got that same? Yeah, I know you still got the same number. I'm not gonna even trip. All right, I appreciate you calling in. Much love to you, and thank you.
Same to you and your family, brother. Thank you.
All right, I appreciate it. Hey, that's my boy right there. We chop it up quite often when he gives me a call and just really want to lay some knowledge on me, as he's done tonight. But with that being said, it's this thing. When I look at it, I can't talk about nobody else. When I look at it, I'm freaking amazed. I am. You know, when I take a serious picture in regards to Freemasonry, in regards to the topics that we discuss, you know, it's like, really, yeah, because a lot of this information, a lot of stuff we talk about, it's in books. All you got to do is go buy the book and you read it. But the thing is, what you're not going to get unless you have experienced the process, you're not going to quite understand and put into contents or what you just read. I'm going to say this again. To any of you who may be on here tonight, you can go get any book you want to get and read all about it. But you're not going to quite understand it until you've gone through the process. That's just like making bread out of wheat. You got the wheat, but if you don't understand how to make the wheat into bread, you're just going to have wheat. I'm just saying, and this is how it is in masonry. I can talk about it all day, but if you're not going through the process, you're not going to really get the logistics of what I'm trying to convey. That's why I always tell those who don't believe what I'm saying, go back and read it, do your own research, and then come back and holler at me. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. It is not rocket science. So what I want to share with you next is this. I went to see the movie Conclave. And I'm going to say this. For you 33rds, you sovereign grand commanders, the conclave, yeah, that's you. Now, I know how some of you are going to say, what are you talking about, Brother Tony? You crazy, you this, you that. I'm going to break this down to you, plain and simple. See, When you get your Masonic certificate, for those of you who are 33rds, read it. And at the bottom of it is going to say, Holy See. I've said this before. All I want you to do, if you're a 33rd, go look up the word Holy See. And I know on some of your certificates it's going to say Holy See, Washington, D.C. Why does it say that? Why does it say Holy See? Then it says Washington, D.C. I know what some of you are going to say. Some of you are going to say, oh, that's the seat of power. I won't disagree. That's just half of the answer. Now, what's the other half of the answer? Your 33rd, that whole General Grand Inspector General, that whole thing is set up just like a conclave. You just don't know because nobody talks about it. You just don't know because it's never been broken down to you that way. The whole thing is that way. The capstone on the Washington Mountain, on the Washington Monument, weighed 3,000 and okay, all right. Let me go look. I will come back to you with it. Jurisdiction, holy law. Go, I'm just saying. For those of you who don't know, you see Holy See. Like I will take, for instance, on my certificates, for those who are part of the Western Masonic jurisdiction, it's going to say Holy See, Sacramento, California, because Sacramento is the capital of California. The Holy See is the place of power for the jurisdiction. That's just one part of it. There's another part to that. And all I want you to do, if you're 33rd, to go look it up. That's all I'm asking you to do. Because most of you who get these certificates and you are 33rds, you don't look no farther. You don't. And for those of you who are 33rds and you go through your ritualistic ceremonies, you have no idea what you've really just gone through. Look, and I'm only saying that because, hell, I had to go back and do my own research. When I became a 33rd, I was excited. I'm a 33rd. I'm a 33rd. But then I went back and I started looking at it. I started reading. I started to break it down and to see, and I was like, holy smack. Okay. Let me do some more reading. And then the light pops on and you be like, holy smack. Man, did I? Is this what that meant? You go through these rites and these ceremonies and you don't know what they mean. You're just so happy. And that's the uniqueness, I think. I think that's the uniqueness for a lot of us. You know, a new door opens if you can decode it. Absolutely. It does. Masonic coordinator. I'm mispronouncing that word. Really? Victor Williams, you said you wasn't a Mason, but your father's a Prince Hall Mason, so therefore if you go read a lot of books, you're onto something. I'm going to give you some credit. I am. I'm just going to give you some credit, brother. I'm not afraid to say it. Absolutely. The Washington Monument, 38 degrees, 50. Oh, you got to go look up these longitudes and latitudes. Oh, you got to go look that up. For those of you who don't know, go look that up. Go look that up. But what I'm sharing with you tonight is to get you to think. I just need for you to go think. I need for you to go and apply that which you say you was going to do. Go do it, and then you come back and you holler at me. That's all I ever ask anybody to do. Plain and simple. So look, I've been on here for a minute. I want to tell everybody, hey, take care of yourself. If this episode, if anything I've said has enlightened you, have given you the inspiration to do whatever you want to do, whether it's to become a Mason or whether it's to indulge yourself and to do more research, great. You do that. Make a contribution if you feel up to it. I appreciate it. Starting next week, I'll be giving away another Masonic cap. I will send you that cap. And to the brother who just won the cap a couple of weeks ago, he hit me up. He said, look, I got it. I appreciate it. And yes, I will definitely mail you the cap. Absolutely no charge, okay? With that being said, I want to say, hey, whatever you do, keep your light on, stay out the bushes. I'm not your study guide. I'm just here to help you study. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. Until next time, peace and be well to everyone. I'm out.